For the district crown right here in Benny Douglas Stadium, Muleshoe against Friona. That's what it's all about.
That's right, Sam. We have a very large crowd on both sides, and we assume more will come in. This will be a standing room only crowd. The Amarillo paper today said that this is the biggest game for the Mules in 20 years, and that certainly is probably the case, or at least close to it. Friona has been very tough the last 3 years, as you have said. They went 10-1 last year. The Mules turned it around last year, winning their last 3 games of the season to end up at 5-5. And the Mules 7-1 now. Friona 8-0, both 3-0 in district play. And like you say, there's a lot of electricity in the air. 15, Kendrick. And Joseph Bandy, number 21, back deep for the Chiefs to receive. Ryan Hodge kicking off for the Mules here in just a moment, and we're waiting for the official's whistle, and we'll get this one underway. Good speed back, Sam, for Friona. Everyone on their feet, and we're ready for this kickoff. We've looked forward to this game, eagerly anticipating it all week and before that even, and we're finally here. And here is a kick, a good long kick taken by Kendrick in the air. Friona's wall right up the middle, and Kendrick hit hard, and he's down about the 26-yard line, and we'll try to see Glover on the tackle. And Sam, he just split right between that middle wall that was being set up in there, that wedge set up in there by Friona, and he really racked Kendrick on that opening kickoff. So Friona with the football on about the 27-yard line down on their end of the field, and they'll put the ball in play from there. They have Bandy out wide to the left side. 3 men in the backfield, wing to the left side. And a handoff, not much there. The Mules tough on that left side, a fumble, and it looks like the Mules may have it, Sam. We'll wait and see. The Mules are signaling that they have this loose ball. The officials haven't said anything yet, so let's wait and see what happens. The Mules thought they had that fumble. No sign yet from the officials, and they said the play was dead. The Mules thought they had that fumble, and the whistle had blown the play dead, so it's second down and about 10. No gain on the play. Good hard defense by the Mules, and the Mules, Sam, on the kickoff and on that first play from scrimmage, act like they are ready to play. There's Bandy out wide to the left side, 2 men in the backfield, and there's a pitch, a little running room, but a good hard hit over there on the left side by the Mules, and I think that was Clevenger, was it?
Mitch Mason coming from his linebacker position on the first carry by Kendrick. It'll net him about 4 yards, and good hard tackle by Mason there. Bring up big third down here early.
Okay, third down and 6 to go, and if Muleshoe can hold Friona here, the Chiefs will have to kick into that wind, and it's a pretty good little wind out there right now. So third down and 6 to go. Again, Bandy out wide to the left side, a wing over to the right side. And the quarterback passes, and it's incomplete, and that would have been short of the first down. Number 24 trying to catch that ball, Grajeda. And that was a good pressure, Sam, by the Muleshoe off the defensive line.
Well, B.J. Gonzalez comes from his safety position, puts a lot of pressure on the quarterback, and Daniel has to hurry his throw, and they'll be forced to punt. The Mules ought to get it in great field position after this punt with Manuel Campoya deep.
And not a real good punt. The Mules probably will just get out of the way here, and it's killed. The ball is killed by Friona on the Friona 48-yard line, about a 15-yard punt there into the wind. And so far, the Mules have done what they wanted to do. Friona chose to receive to begin this game after winning the coin toss, and the Mules have them 3 and out. And the Mules have the ball back in great field position on the 48-yard line of the Chiefs, and we'll see what this defense of the Chiefs can do against the Mules. High formation for the Mules, tandem out this time. There goes in motion Clevenger. And the handoff straight ahead, and some pretty good running in there for Pena. Did we keep it with the quarterback? He was tackled. Okay, the quarterback faked to Pena and picked up about 2 or 3 yards. About a 4-yard pickup, so 2nd and 6 from there. That was McClanahan with the ball, a good fake in there. A good job by Pena. He made about 5 yards on the fake then, Sam. Had me faked out. So it's 2nd down and 6, the ball down close to the 45-yard line in Friona territory. Receivers out wide to both sides, offset eye. Handoff, delayed handoff, good running in there by Reyes, and he may have the first down. Just a little short, said his knee hit the ground a little short, so it'll be 3rd and short for the Mules.
First carry for Reyes tonight. Ronnie, he's been shaking a little knee injury all week and is trying to get it shook off for tonight's ball game. On his first carry, he picked up about 5 yards on the play, was tripped up, and they marked him down just short of the first down. So a big 3rd down here for the Mules offense.
And Reyes running very low to the ground there. One back in the backfield this time. And a handoff to that back, and he's hit hard, but he should have the first down. Was that Pena? Pena for about, looks like about 2 yards or 1.5 yards. That should be enough for the first down. And first down it is, the first one of the night. The Mules pick it up. And they have the ball down to the 37-yard line now in Friona territory. And Sam, with this wind, if we get anywhere close to that goal line and bogged down, it looked like to me Hodge was kicking the ball very well, working on his field goals before the game, so that's a possibility also. Right now we have a 1st and 10 from the 37. There goes a handoff in there straight ahead for a couple maybe to Pena. Good defense by the center of the Friona line. And let's see, missed the numbers on that, but a 2-yard pickup, 2nd and 8 for the Mules.
Well, Ronnie was talking about Jesse Reyes' injury. Kind of nursing that sore knee all week, so we're liable to see a lot of Pena at tailback tonight. We'll see how far Jesse can go, but Greg Pena will be filling in, going from his fullback position back to the tailback position.
Okay, all set eye again. Little pass, and a receiver fell down there, and that was Lewis, and he turned and slipped, and the ball incomplete out in the flat on the right side. So it'll be a big 3rd and 8 for the Mules here, and the Mules need to come up quickly with a big play here in the first quarter. 8:35 to go, just getting underway here in the first quarter. No score. The Mules driving the football down to the Friona 37-yard line, about 37-yard line. One back in the backfield, that's Pena. And a keeper in there by the quarterback, McClanahan. He has a first down. He has more. He's down around the 10, the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2, the 1, and he is in the end zone. But a flag is down, and I guess we'll call that one back.
On us? Yeah. On us? Yeah, hold it.
Well, a great run in there by McClanahan, and there's those officials out there. The flag goes down, and they're calling holding, I believe. So a big run and a big play there by the Mules is called back, and it'll just be a penalty, and it'll be 3rd down and much longer now. 3rd and 11. And, Sam, I didn't see that flag for a while, and I thought we had a good play going there, but one of the officials noticed something, and he did call it, and it is 3rd and 11 now for the Mules. So a big play for Friona there. That could have been a great start for the Mules, and so they just have to come back now and come up with another big play here, and we'll see what we can do. A great run there, but McClanahan, though, is wiped out. And back to pass. McClanahan, a little screen pass, batted in the air, and Friona Mack could have intercepted that one if they'd known where the ball was batted to, but it's batted down, so a 4th down, and the Mules will probably punt here and try to get the ball out around the 2 or 3 yard line. Sam, that was a devastating penalty the officials called in.
Well, Ronnie, we need to, keep away from all them mistakes in this big game like this, and McClanahan cranks off a big 3rd down run for a touchdown, and they bring it back, and the Mules will be forced to punt here. A little possession game being played here early in this ball game.
Okay, so the Mules are punting. There's Clevenger back to punt. Is that Bandy, I believe, receiving? And a snap a little high. Oh, and there is a long pass down the field and incomplete, and the gamble fails for the Mules. So Clevenger then, instead of punting the ball, trying to get the ball out to number 80, I believe, and he couldn't hang on to that. That's Campoya, and Campoya just turned around but couldn't make the catch. So Friona will have the ball in fairly decent field position after the gamble by the Mules failed. Actually, Campoya was open then, but the pass was he just couldn't turn around and catch it. Well, it's a first down and 10 to go for Friona. Their second time with the football tonight. They have the ball on the 38-yard line in their territory. And there goes a big quarterback. Keeping pass or run, he keeps the ball and picks up about 5 around the right side. That's Justin Daniels, 6'4", 185, a senior, and he picked up close to 5 yards on the play. He just faked a bootleg and then rolled out to his right side and pass or run on the option. He kept the ball and had a good gain on first down. So it's second down and about 5, maybe 5.5 to go for Friona with the ball on the 44-yard line of the Chiefs. 2 backs in the backfield. Somebody may have been offsides there, and I think it was the Mules. Looked like, and like Sam said, mistakes are very, very important in this game. They can be very costly. Looked like the Mules were a little anxious and in the middle of the line we hit the center for Friona before the ball was snapped, so it'll cost the Mules 5, and it'll be very close to a first down with a second, and I think it's going to be about a half yard or just inches to go for the first down. Friona here may try a long one, Sam, because they have a down to play with.
Well, Ronnie, big play here on this series down. The Mules, another penalty really cost them as they had that last run stuffed out. So Mules defense really need to stiffen.
And it did stiffen, but a first down for Friona. They were hit hard after about a 1-yard gain, but they only lacked a few inches, and Turney stuffed the ball carrier, number 24, Noel Grajeda, back. Sam, Friona has a couple of backs with over 900 yards. That's Grajeda and Kendrick, and that was a first down picked up by Grajeda then, as he picked up a yard or so on the play. And it's first and 10 to go, and Friona now in Muleshoe territory on the 48-yard line of the Mules. Split backs this time for Friona. And there is a flag down. This time I believe it'll be on Friona. Somebody, was that Turney got the free lick in on number 13? B.J. Gonzalez got a free lick in on Daniels, and Daniels didn't much like that one after the whistle had blown. So it's a first and 15 now. The ball back in Friona territory on the 46-yard line of the Friona Chiefs now. No score here in this first quarter, about midways through it. And Friona with the football for the second time tonight. Daniel, the quarterback, setting Bandy out wide. And he hands off straight ahead to Big Kendrick, I believe, Grajeda. And Grajeda broke a big one there, Sam. He got about 12. Boy, he's quick. He hit that hole in a hurry over the left side and picked up 12 yards, and it'll be a second down and about 3 now for Friona. And the rain, Sam, is really coming down hard right now. A lot of raincoats and umbrellas coming out in the stands now. And it's second and 3 for the Chiefs as they move down toward the Muleshoe 40-yard line. There's Big Kendrick, and he's hit right close to the first down marker. I don't know whether he made it or not. We'll wait and see. He picked up 2 or 3 on the play. Pena and Mason on the tackle then for the Mules. Sam, the field's in good shape, but this kind of rain, if it keeps up for about a quarter or 2, it may get a little soggy out there.
Ronnie, it's starting to come down pretty good. They expected storms all night, and we see a lot of lightning flashes in the distance. I just hope it stays away.
So a third down and 1 for the Chiefs. And a big play in there. The quarterback is sacked in there by. Who was that? Okay. I didn't think they got the handoff then, Sam, but they did. The interior of the line made the tackle, about a yard loss on the play, and it's 4th down and 2, and Friona should punt the football here. Big tackle and over on the left side of the Muleshoe defensive line. Friona a low snap, but they'll get the kick away, and they're going to get a good roll out of that. And Sam, that's going to be killed down around the 1 yard line. Friona, a low kick. It turned sideways, it spun, it curved, it twisted, and finally was killed at the 1 yard line. A beautiful bounce for Friona. They got about 20 yards out of the bounce in.
Ronnie Mules start their second possession deep in their own end. We need to get something going here. 4:27 remaining in the opening quarter. Scoreless ball game in this big District 2 AAA matchup between the Muleshoe Mules and the Friona Chieftains.
And Sam, the rain is coming straight down, and it's coming down hard now. And what we don't want here is the fumble. The Mules have scored once, but it was called back. The official spotted some holding. There's a long pass, and it is incomplete. A good play there by Lewis, actually, to keep Friona from intercepting that pass because he was well covered in there by Bandy. So 2nd and 10, and the Mules need to get some yardage here, so they'll have a little kicking room at the very least. Friona, very, very, very fortunate on that punt. It took a Friona bounce and was killed down at the 1 yard line, and they're kicking into the wind and the rain. And the Mules just have to come up with a play here. Friona really stacking the line now. Hand off straight ahead, not much there. Little breathing room, maybe a couple of yards. You know, a lot of things you have to worry about here, Sam. One is a bad snap. In this rain, the football will be wet and slippery. And it'll be 3rd and 8 on about the 3 or 4 yard line. The wind's blowing so hard down there now, a lot of people are having trouble holding on to their umbrellas. There's a handoff. Now a keeper in there by McClanahan. This time he'll have a yard or two around the left side. That's the same option play he ran a while ago when he went to about 30 yards for the touchdown. Of course, that one was called back. So it's 4th down and about a 3 or 4 yard pickup in there by McClanahan. It'll be 4th and 4. And the Mules must get a good snap and a good kick here. Friona has Bandy back on about the 40 yard line. They should get excellent field position even if the Mules get the kick away here. Good snap. And the kick is over Bandy's head. It's still going deep down in Muleshoe territory. He'll pick it up. Oh, and we missed a couple of tackles, and now we got him over around the 43 yard line. So a great kick in there. Sam, that kick was almost blocked in the end zone. Almost blocked. And about a 50-yard punt and about a 6 or 7 yard return for Bandy. A good hit over around the sidelines. It looked like Bandy's slippery, Sam. It looked like we had him surrounded down around the 40, and we missed him a couple of times, and the ball out to about the 43-yard line in Friona territory. So the Mules came out of that about as good as you could expect or hope for. 2:53 to go here in the first quarter, no score. Both teams just kind of flexing their defensive muscles right here. Of course, the Mules have had one call back. 1st and 10 to go. Quarterback, a bootleg. He's keeping the ball. He has good running room, and he's tackled down around the 50, 49-yard line. He has 7 or 8 yards. That's the little bootleg, and he had a blocker out in front of him and had some good running room, a lot of grass out in front of him before the first Muleshoe tackler came up. So 2:33 to go. The clock running in the first quarter, no score. 2nd down and 3, about a 7 yard pickup in there by Daniel on that play. The Mules so far have done a decent job on Kendrick. And here's a handoff, and getting through there is Grajeda. He has a 1st down, has about 5 yards. Boy, he is quick. He gets that handoff, and he has 2 or 3 steps on you before you know it. Byers on the tackle in. 1st down for Friona. The ball down to the 45-yard line down in Muleshoe territory, just nosed on the 45 with 2 minutes to go here in the first quarter. Friona on the move. Bandy out wide to the left side. There goes a pitch back to Kendrick, and he breaks about 3 tackles, but still loses a yard. Shelburne had him first and slowed him up, and then 3 other mules came in, Sam, to help out. So about a yard loss for Kendrick.
Ronnie Shelburne to come from his defensive tackle position and was deep in the backfield that time, and he slowed up Kendrick enough to get a lot of help there, but he had him about 4 or 5 yards deep and let him slip away. But good tackle by the Mules defense.
Okay, so a 2nd and 11 to go now. With the clock running down close to 1 minute here in the first quarter, no score in the ball game. There goes a handoff straight ahead about, is that Grajeda? Alfaro and Mason on the tackle. Grajeda picks up about 5 more. 3rd down and 6 to go. A 5-yard pickup. The rain still coming down here in the first quarter. Friona on the move. A big 3rd down play for the Mules. And Sam, if the Mules can keep Friona from picking up anything here, they'll probably punt. But if they get close to the 1st down, I would assume they'll go for it on 4th down if they don't make it here on 3rd down. Closing seconds of the first quarter, and Friona will have the wind soon. They've played the Mules even with the wind to their face. And back to pass, and falling down back there around the 50-yard line is Daniel. Daniel slipped and fell, and I don't think the rain was the only reason he did, Sam. He was surrounded by mules, and he had about 4 all around him and couldn't find anyone open, and he just lost his footing. And it'll be a loss of about 9 yards on that play. The ball on the 49-yard line in Muleshoe territory, and Friona's going to wait, and the Mules didn't call timeout and make them punt into the wind then, Sam, and maybe that was smart because the last time they punted into the wind, we got the ball on the 1-yard line.
Well, Ronnie, that'll end 1 quarter of play, and just like we sat in and talked about, this big battle for the district championship, and it's been nothing but that. The Mules a real costly penalty on their first drive as McClanahan scores from about 55 yards out, and it's called back on a holding penalty. But good first quarter of play football. Looks like the rain is slowing somewhat. Got a good stiff breeze coming out of the southeast, but good getting ready for a second quarter of football here. It looks like Friona will be forced to punt on about 4th and 14 from the Mules' 49-yard line. Manuel Campoya deep to do the punting, to receive this punt from the Friona Chieftains, standing back just inside his own 20-yard line. Good high punt taken by Campoya at the 15, heads upfield, crosses the 20, 25, and he'll be slung down just outside the 25-yard line up to about 26, and the Mules will take over there for their 3rd possession. Where you going? No, you're out. And I'm fixing to run them others 2 out too. Let me run them out. Hey, you other 2 guys with Reynolds. Hey, Bo. Henry. Oh, you and Dusty are going to have to leave. Yeah. Mules take over there. McClanahan, the quarterback. Split twin receivers to his left is number 4, B.J. Gonzalez, and number 80, Manuel Campoya. Jesse Ray is the deep back for the Mules with Greg Pena in at fullback. Hand off to the tailback, Reyes finds a little hole, slips down as he crosses the 30, but good pickup by Jesse Reyes as he gets out to about the 31-yard line, pickup of about 5. Bring up 2nd and 5 for the Mules.
Got that call back on.
Oh, man.
That was hard.
McClanahan brings him to the line. Single setback is number 35, Pena. Has twin receivers to his left, a single back to his right. He keeps it himself, rolling to his left, trying to get outside, and he slips down. Ronnie, it'll be close to a 1st down. Look like he'll have it, but field getting a little slippery here. We've got just joined us in the press box, Victor Leal. Victor, what do you think about the first quarter of play?
It looked like an awful good game, Sam. There was kind of a trading punches there, like two heavyweights coming out and kind of feeling each other out. Shame that we got that big run called back, but we're still in the game here, making a good showing.
Big game here. McClanahan brings them to the line, I formation on 1st and 10. They'll hand off to Pena. A lot of running room. He dodges a tackle, crosses midfield, and gets down to about the 48-yard line. Good, tough run by Pena. I told you, with Reyes nursing that sore knee and Vila out for another game, we'll see Pena in at tailback, and he just looks like just had a big hole straight up the middle.
As a delay handoff, Sam, kind of like a draw, and the Muleshoe offensive line did a job then on Friona, and Pena a good job of running, and the Mules, I believe, are ready to play tonight. And of course, we knew Friona would be.
McClanahan brings him to the line. Single setback is Pena this time, and he'll get the ball straight up the middle in another hole, Ronnie, and he just barreled forward for about 6 yards, and good blocking by that interior line. Itchy Nunez, Matt Conklin, Turney, and just big blocking by the interior of the Mules line. Jonas Alfaro also in, but the Mules offensive line starting on this drive to open up some holes, Ronnie, and 10:03 and counting remaining before halftime. The Mules putting together a little drive here. Handoff to the tailback is Pena. He's hit about the line of scrimmage, Ronnie. Good tough run there, and he picks up a good 2 yards. Number 51 for the Chieftains, Tony Duran, hit him about the line of scrimmage, and the old flag hits us again. So that'll bring it back. We'll wait to see. Looks like a legal formation against the Mules. Third flag against the Mules tonight. Friona had been flagged once, but the Mules with that big flag cost them about a 55-yard touchdown run by McClanahan. That'll set it back to, good God, a 7-yard penalty or what?
I don't understand that. That was we had a 2nd and about 4, and now we've got a 2nd and 10.
Well, McClanahan brings them to the line. Continues to rain here early in the ball game. McClanahan slips on a little quarterback draw, but still takes off and picks up about 5.5, 6 yards as he gets just inside the 45-yard line. Bring up a big third down play for the Mules. Ronnie, we have a Chieftain down on the field with 9:23 remaining before half. We'll be back after a short timeout.
We're going to let you have it. I still haven't got over that first one yet.
Were they holding? Did y'all see the hold?
I didn't see it. I was all excited giving my rendition of the touchdown. Sam said, there is a penalty.
We have a penalty. Get them balls in that dryer at halftime.
Right now, we're slightly outplaying them. But we're not
We're
having any
7
help.
now.
Yeah.
42 is 42.
Starting opening side. Rivera, linebacker.
He's not hurt bad. Breath not there.
Okay. Number 42, Hugo Rivera, is the injured Chieftain as they take him to the sidelines. Looked like he just shaken up just a bit. But another big third down here for the Mules. 3rd, and we'll call it 5 for McClanahan as he brings them to the line. Splits twin receivers to his right. Carlton Lewis split to his left. Single back is Pena. He's back to pass, looking outside, and just slips over his fingertips, trying to hit number 80, Campoya, out there in the flat. He had been down close to the first down, and Clevenger's coming in. Looked like we're going to punt it away to him here, Ronnie. 8:59 remaining for halftime.
What we need to do probably here, Sam, is try to punt the ball low like Friona's been doing and hope we get that same lucky bounce on the punt they got a while ago and try to pin the Chiefs deep down around the goal line somewhere.
But Clevenger deep to do the punting for the Mules, and deep for the Chieftain is number 21, Bandy. Dangerous return man. Bad snap, but Clevenger picks it up and gets a good bounce and hits down at about the 20, and and hits the mule defender in the back, but they'll kill it at about the 18-yard line. Ronnie was lucky to get that in the way.
When the ball hits the ground, let me think here, Sam. Is that many? So if they hit Clevenger, it doesn't matter on that. And luckily they didn't hit him. And I don't know how you got that kick between them. It just kind of went between four hands in. But even though the ball hit the Muleshoe defender in the back, that's not too bad because we have Friona inside the 20, and Bandy did not get a chance to return that one.
Wet, slippery field here tonight in Benny Douglas Stadium. Friona takes over inside their own 20 down to about the 18-yard line. Justin Daniel, the quarterback for the Chieftains. Hand off straight up the middle to Grajeda, and he'll pick up about 8 yards, brought down by number 20, Judd Glover for the Mules. He went motion, but he went sideways, I think, didn't he?
No, you had your tackle over here on the right side. You jumped outside.
Ronnie, we see a lot of lightning flashes back over to our south. I just hope it doesn't get any closer where the game will be a little delayed. But Daniel brings them to the line, splits Bandy wide to his left. Quick pitch out to Grajeda, and he is lucky to get a handle on it, Ronnie, and he'll stumble forward for a good pickup of about 6-7 yards. But Ronnie, that ball being slippery, and he pitched it out there. I thought he was going to put it on the ground, but Grajeda made a good catch on that option.
Is that Kendrick? Yeah, fullback.
Daniel brings them to the line, 1st and 10, just across their own 35-yard line. Daniel hands it off to Kendrick, running to his left, and he's hit hard right about the line of scrimmage. Number 4, B.J. Gonzalez, coming from his safety position. He put a hammer on him.
Tell you what, they put a hammer on Daniel, too. He got up slow back there in the backfield.
All right, we got a yellow flag drop that time, and it's going to be holding against the Chieftains. That'll back up the Chieftains 10 yards, bring up 1st and 20, pushes it back just outside the 25-yard line. Pitched out to Kendrick that time, a play that they've sure been accustomed to running all year, and B.J. Gonzalez read it perfectly and just hammered him right at the line of scrimmage. 1st and 20 for the Chieftains, just outside their own 25-yard line. Daniel brings them to the line. Daniel rolling to his left, little shovel pass in the middle to number 33, and he picks up about 15 yards. Number 33 is Sergio Campos for the Friona Chieftains. Ronnie, that was a heck of a play. Mules got a lot of pressure on Daniel, and he gets it away right at the last minute and picks up about 15 yards.
Well, Daniel's 6'4", Sam, and he jumped just as high as he could, and he was being hit as he pitched that ball out on that little shovel pass that Friona likes to run. And a good play by the Chiefs, and they picked up 10, 15 yards on that play.
2nd and 5 for Daniel. And he's back to pass again, rolling to his right. A lot of pressure put on. Whipple can't get to him, and the rest of the Mules catch up, and finally brought down by number 60, Joey Mata. No, I'm sorry, number 60, Jeffrey Shelburne finally brings him down, and he'll lose about 3 or 4 yards on that play. But a lot of pressure put on by Whipple that time, and but he couldn't hang on.
That Daniel is hard to bring down, Sam. Good pressure by the Mules, and we had about 4 shots at him, and finally Shelburne got him down. I don't think he could find anyone to throw the ball to, but he's pretty shifty for a 6'4" boy.
Well, Friona getting a win behind them in this second quarter. I mean, Friona getting that win behind them. They're coming out throwing the football. Big 3rd down here for the Mules defense. 3rd and 7. Back to pass again. Little slant pattern to Bandy, and he can't hang on, Ronnie. The ball hits him right in the numbers, and he's hammered by number 42, Russell Byers for the Mules. And Byers, one of them big hit men the Mules have in their secondary, and he put a big stick on Bandy, and he couldn't hang on.
Probably Bandy should have caught that ball, Sam. A good hit by Byers, but a perfectly thrown pass, and I thought Bandy was going to catch it on the rebound. Friona's been lucky with that sort of thing happening tonight, but he just couldn't hang on to that one, so Friona will have to punt. And they dropped the ball, and we're going to tackle them back around the 20-yard line.
Snap, that slippery ball gets, he drops it, and whole host of Mules, Joey Mata, Jeffrey Shelburne, all in there in the backfield for the Mules in the back against the punter, and the Mules will set up an excellent position at their 24-yard line, at the Friona's 24-yard line. 5:49 remaining for halftime. The Mules catch a big break here on this slippery, wet football. Maybe we can get this one drive and punch it in before we maybe have to delay it for a little lightning storm we're having. McClanahan brings them to the line. 1st and 10. Quick handoff straight up the middle is Pena, and he barrels forward for about 6 yards. Good, tough run by Pena.
Hit right at the line, and he just broke through and drug a couple of Friona boys with him for 5 yards. So a good first down pickup, and the Mules sense that smell at goal line right here, and I just hope we can keep the flags from flying and get in that end zone.
Well, big tailback, fullback, number 35, Greg Pena, 210-pound senior for the Mules, and that was a good, tough run. Second, and we'll call it 5. They marked him back a little bit. They need to hurry. 3, 2. They get it away. They quick pitch it to Reyes. He cuts back inside, ducks his head, gets down to about the 15. Looks like he'll come up about a yard short of the first down, but Reyes pitched out to him, tried to get to the outside, cut it back up inside, and picked up a good 4 yards.
A good thing here, Sam, if we can keep this drive alive, is that we're using up the last 4 or 5 minutes of this half, or this second quarter, and if we can score and not leave Friona much time and go in at the half ahead, then that's big, but we've got to do it to score right now.
Big 3rd down and 1 for the Mules. McClanahan brings them to the line. Pena, the deep tailback for the Mules. Long snap count. Handoff straight up the middle of Pena, and he'll fall forward. He'll be close to the first down. We'll have to wait and see where they mark him. He's going to be awful close, but the Mules are down in 4-down territory, especially against the wind. And he didn't make it. Ronnie, it's awful close. Ronnie, it looked like he was a little further along than he was, but didn't get all that good a spot. But big 4th down here for the Mules. 4th and less than a yard as they're inside the 15-yard line of the Chieftains.
Can you play that? No flag.
Well, Ronnie snapped the football, and it just went straight up through his hands. Where kind of waiting to see that lightning getting awful close. We're waiting to see. Let's get everybody out. They're calling it here. The Mules had a break there and couldn't capitalize as they kind of lose the football on 4th down. But Friona will have it there, 1st and 10, just outside their own 17-yard line. And after a little delay here, we'll be back to action as quick as they let it. Well, Ronnie, this game has not only been the biggest in 20 years for Muleshoe, it may be the longest game in the history of Muleshoe. As we get several hours later, we come back to continue this game. We'll 3:37 remaining in halftime. The Friona will have the ball on their own 17-yard line, and Ronnie, it's a wet, muddy, soggy field, and you know, this kind of field conditions, anything can happen, but we're about ready for the start of the continuation of this game. And you know, turnovers will play a big key. You know, the wetness of the football, they could be a lot of fumbles and a lot of turnovers the rest of this ball game, but I hope the Mules are ready after a long wait to finish this up, and we'll be nearly ready to get underway. Ronnie, what do you think?
Well, Sam, I guess a game that is billed as a big one like this is maybe should last a while longer, maybe not this much longer. But, you never know what will happen in a game like this, because I feel like the Mules were very much ready to play last night, and of course Friona was too. And after the big delay that we've had here and suiting up and coming back out, and the Mules are coming on the field now, you just don't know what will happen. Same thing across the way with Friona. But with what's at stake, I do feel like both teams will have to be ready to play. Now, there have been some changes. It looks like Muleshoe, Friona, and Littlefield will definitely be in the playoffs for this district. And what we want now is to try to win first place in district. And I'm still looking forward to it. I feel like this will be a good ball game. And we just hope that the mud or the field conditions or turnovers or this sort of thing doesn't determine the game, but it well could.
Have to sit right there, okay? Well, we'll be back for, well, I started to say kickoff, but we'll have no kickoff, and Friona will start it at their own 17-yard line, and we'll be back after a short break. This long-awaited continuation of this big District 2-3A battle between the Muleshoe Mules and the Friona Chieftains. And Ronnie, this is for all the marbles. This is for the district championship here after what happened last night. So we're ready to go here as Justin Daniel brings them to the line. Powerhouse backfield. Handoff to Kendrick, and he's hit. A lot of pressure by Shelburne. He got an arm on him right off, and then the rest of the Mules there to take him down. He'll pick up about a yard on the play, bring up 2nd and 9 for the Chieftains.
What's his name? This play.
Grajando. Daniel brings him to the line, 2nd and 9. Power I formation in the backfield. Give it to Kendrick again. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage, and he'll fall forward for maybe a half a yard gain, but the Mules just coming at him. 3rd and still about 9. They'll have it right at the 20-yard line.
Looked like then we were in the backfield. This is the handoff there. We were stuck to this side.
3rd and long for the Chieftain. This time he splits Bandy wide to his left, covered out there by Byers. Quick pitch out to Ahita on his first carry, and he's dropped down by the Mules. Number 35, Pena, the first to get there. Number 33, Mitch Mason. Number 60, Shelburne, also in on the tackle. And Ronnie, this is pretty critical here as they snap back at wet football. Anything can happen here. 1:47 counting remaining before halftime. Manuel Campoya deep for the Mules. Snap taken off the ground, gets it up and out. Kind of a short kick, hits down at about the 50, takes a Friona bounce, and is killed at just outside the Mules' 45-yard line. And the offense needs to get something going here right before half.
Well, Sam, we did what we needed to do, and that's Friona had 3 and out on that. And we have the ball in good field position. Of course, the time is a factor here, 1:34 to go to the half. But the Mules played good defense to begin this continuation, and now they have the ball, and we'll see what they can do.
1st and 10 for the Mules just outside their own 45-yard line. Power I formation from McClanahan as he splits Campoya wide to his right. Deep tailback is Pena, and he'll get the football straight up the middle, and he's hit right about the line of scrimmage, and he'll pick up about, we'll give him about 2 yards on the play. The ball come loose, but it was after the fact, and bring up 2nd and 8 for the Mules. Clock continues to run here right before halftime. McClanahan splits his brother John wide to his right. Full house backfield. Whipple and Mitch Mason, the fullbacks. Greg Pena set back in his tailback position. Handoff again to Pena, rolling to his right, and he finds running a little tough. Pick up about 4 on the play. Bring up 3rd and about 2, Ronnie. The clock continues to run, but in these conditions, you pretty much want to keep it on the ground.
Yeah, you nearly have to keep the ball in the middle of the field, Sam, for at least right now till they kind of get the feel of the field. And I think both coaches are just maybe wanting to run this out till the halftime. Of course, we'd like to break a big one, but I think maybe just run the clock out, and the Mules should get the ball to begin the second half and then start in earnest from that point.
Well, 3rd and about 2. McClanahan splits twin receivers to his left, and lone receiver to his right keeps it himself, rolling right. He's hit hard. It'll depend on the spot. It'll be close. Look like he's going to be just a little bit short.
Well, no, they moved it back.
Yeah.
Short. They called time out. We're going to try to block it.
We're going to go for it. 6 seconds left. You got to go for it. We've got time out on the field for a measurement. 6 seconds remaining before halftime, and we'll be back after a short timeout.
You make him really mad. Let him buzz around on you.
Remaining 4 half, they'll have it 4th and inches from just inside the 45-yard line of the Chieftains. McClanahan splits Reyes wide to his right, with Campoya and Carlton Lewis wide to his left, and he's back to pass. A lot of pressure put on and nowhere to go, and that'll end the first half of play as Friona Chieftains sack McClanahan, but that'll end the first half of play. And after a 5-minute break, we will be back for the second half of football.
We begin the second half in this ball game, and it'll be Duran, number 51, Tony Duran, kicking off for Friona. Byers and Campoya back deep for the Mules, and the Mules had the option this half, and they did choose to receive. Friona will take the wind here in the third quarter, and there's not a tremendous amount of wind, but you can see the flags blowing fairly well over across the way there on the Friona side. Neither team, Sam, could do much with the football in the 3:17 we had before the half, but I feel like the coaches were kind of filling each other out, and of course we'll have to see a lot of running up the middle, I'm sure, by both teams.
Ronnie, just see that neither team wanted to make a mistake right there before halftime, but the Mules will get the ball here to start the second half. Is anxious to see how good a foothold the kicker can get into this ball with his plant foot for sure slipping, so we'll wait and see what kind of field position we get.
And, you know, a field goal could decide a game like this. You never know what's going to happen, but it'll be hard, like you say, to get footing on kickoffs, field goals, punts, anything, and it'll probably be hard to hang on to the football, too, because it's going to be slippery and wet. Duran's kick is a low one, taken in the air by number 4, Darrell Lewis, 44, and his first time to touch the football as a varsity player. He catches the ball in the air and picks up about 5 or 6 yards, so a good job by Lewis. And the Mules will have the ball out on the 36-yard line on their end of the field, and the wind, what wind there is, will be blowing in the Mules' face. And the Mules up to the line. McClanahan in a quarterback. He has 2 receivers out to the left and 1 out to the right. 1 back in the backfield, a wing back. There's a handoff. And now a keeper in there by McClanahan, and he'll pick up a yard or 2, and he's snowed under out there around the corner. So good defense there by the Chiefs. And, Sam, one thing about it, both teams had a night to think about what the other team had done to them last night before the game was called, and so maybe a little harder to get any offense going. Not only is it muddy out there and slippery, but both teams are well aware of what the other will try to do to them. A pickup of about 3 by McClanahan. It'll be 2nd and 7 for the Mules now as they come up to the line. Lewis out wide to the right side, Campoya to the left. There's a handoff straight ahead, and not much there. Not much at all as Pena. Reyes up the middle end. He picked up maybe 2, so it's a 3rd and a long 5 here for the Mules. And a big play here. And so far it's been all defense in this continuation of this big football game. And we'll see if the Mules can come up with something here on 3rd and 5. High formation this time, 2 receivers out to the left. There's a pass, and it may be intercepted. That'll be a touchdown for Friona, Sam. You could see that one coming all the way. The pass went out far to the left side, and you could see Friona all the way on that one. You could see that before it even happened. And Friona intercepts, goes into the end zone from about 50 yards out, 55 yards out. And, Sam, that'll be a hard one to overcome.
Well, Ronnie, in field conditions like this, any points on the board would be tough to overcome. We'll wait and see how the Mules react to it, but Friona set, Daniel set for the point after attempt here with 10:31 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Friona 6-0 with the point after attempt yet to come.
And the kick is, no, it is good. It was no good. It looked like it just crawled over the bar, but it was below the bar, I suppose, when it went over. So 6-0 Friona, and we'll be back with the Friona kickoff. The second time here in this 3rd quarter to the Mules, and a big play there for Friona. You could see that one coming all the way as Friona picked that pass off and ran it untouched into the end zone. They have not been able to move the ball much on offense on the Mule defense, but they got them a quick one there, and they lead 6-0. They did miss the extra point, so the Mules must score now. Duran will be ready to kick off. It'll be Byers and Campoya back again deep for the Mules. And another low kick taken by an up man, number 84. And he is hammered hard in there by a fired up Friona team. Joe Garcia tackled out inside the 40. At just about the 40-yard line. The officials wiping the football off. And the Mules have their work cut out for them now with 10:25 to go, a lot of time here in the 3rd quarter. And the Mules down 6-0. Really quieting things down over here on the Muleshoe side and kind of fired them up on the Friona side, which that will do when you have a big play like that. Friona stacks in the line. Muleshoe hands off and has a little bit of running room. Good hard running by Pena. He'll have 3 or 4 there over the right side. A couple of those yards were Pena picked up on his own, and the Mules just have to have a good drive here and take the ball down the field. They have to defeat or block the Friona defensive line and get down the field and score. And a pickup of about close to 4, call it 3.5 yards on that play. 2nd down and close to 7 for the Mules. Receiver out wide to the left side. And there goes a handoff again in the middle of the line, and not a whole lot there this time. It's Friona really comes up, maybe a yard picked up. So it'll be another long 3rd down, 3rd and about 5 or 6 for the Mules. Friona bringing their secondary up, and they're really helping out and tackling our ball carriers there. Pena last night was dragging the Chiefs 2 or 3 yards after he was hit, and they're really bringing up their secondary and helping out on him so far this afternoon. So 9-10 to go, 3rd down and 6 yards to go. 5.5 for the Mules. Lewis out wide to the right side.
Got the 2 out there covering.
Timeout called. I think Friona called timeout. They had, I don't know exactly what that was about. I think Friona on defense in.
No, they called him for his chin strap.
One of the Friona boys or Muleshoe. Didn't have a chin strap on, so that'll cost us 5. And it looked like the Friona, yeah, cost us a timeout. Okay. He's back on the field. The Mules will be breaking the huddle here in just a moment. And it'll be a 3rd and still close to 6 yards to go for Muleshoe. And we'll see what the Mules choose to do here. If they have to punt, it'll be into what wind we have. With 8:56 to go here in the 3rd quarter, and Friona up 6-0. And there's a keeper by McClanahan. He has a little room, but not nearly enough, as he's tackled out of bounds about a good 3 yards short, maybe 4 of the first down. And Friona really, Sam, really adjusted it on defense then, and each time the Mules have carried the ball, and so the Mules handicapped, as is Friona on offense, and it's costing them 4th and 2, and Clevenger will be back to punt, and Bandy, number 21, back to receive for Friona. What the Mules need now, Sam, is some kind of a break.
Right, we need to just get a good snap back there, and so we can get this punt away and kind of work on some of that field position a little bit.
And a pretty good snap, and the kick is high. Bandy letting it roll, and it'll take a little bit of a mule bounce and die down around the 16. That hit in a puddle of water, and I don't know, it took a funny bounce, but it did it took a skid. It did go in the Mules' favor, so Bandy wisely got out of the way of that one. It's 1st and 10 for the Chiefs on the 16-yard line on their end of the field, and the Mules must play good defense here. Friona a timeout, I believe. It looks like they were a little disorganized out on the field, and they called timeout. So there's timeout on the field. Friona leads 6-0, 8:43 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Friona on offense, 1st and 10 from their own 16 now. We're in the 3rd quarter of this continuation game, and the Mules trail Friona 6-0, 8:43 to go in the 3rd quarter. Wing T offense as Friona goes in motion, and they had some good running room then, Sam, over the left side. Picked up about 5 or 6, and, one play like that a lot of times can really fire a team up. That's number 24 carrying the ball for Friona.
Well, after that give up that touchdown on the interception by Chieftains, it kind of fired them up over there, Ronnie, and they'll pick up about 5 yard. Good blocking by the interior line there, so they'll have it 2nd and 5. Mules need to stiffen up here and play a little bit of that field position.
Well, the Mules just have to get their heads up and get after it now, because we're in a hole, and it's going to be very hard to overcome this hole, and they've got to play some good, tough, hard football now. 2nd and 5 to go. There's a pitch, and good defense that time. In there is number Pena's in there, number 34 is in there. Whipple in there, and a couple of other Mules, and not much of anything on that, so it'll be 3rd down and still about 5. So good defense around the right side of the Muleshoe defense end. Friona tried to sweep left and made very little.
Ronnie, a lot of penetration by Pena. He was the first to get there and tripped him up, and he actually lost about a half a yard on that play, so it'll be 3rd and a long 5, closer to 6 yards.
Close to 6 yards, a big play here, and we'll see if Friona chooses to pass. They do have some wind to their back here. 3rd down and about 6 to go. Of course, with a 6-0 lead, I would think they'll try to keep the ball on the ground, and they do. No, they're back to pass it now, and it's overthrown. Incomplete. A good fake in there, and the quarterback put down very hard then by the Mules, but he did get the pass away. And, of course, I think a lot of that he was laying on the ground because he missed his receiver. He did have one receiver open, and he just overthrew him.
Well, Ronnie had number 33, Sergio Campos, open down the field, and just overthrew him. Of course, a wet ball, hard to get a hold on to get a good grip to throw the football, but can pull you deep for receive the punt here. The Mules ought to get good field position.
And a low snap, but A high kick, pretty good kick with the wind. It'll go out of bounds on about the 46-yard line. It looks like, well, maybe a little less than that. Let's see where, no, he put it on the 49-yard line in Muleshoe territory. So the Mules will take over with good field position. And, Sam, we really need to get something going on this drive.
Ronnie, 7:06 remaining in the third. We need to put together a good drive here and see if we can't put it in the end zone. That would change this ball game tremendously. But the Mules will have it in good field position up close to midfield.
Well, if we can move the ball, Sam, and score, Friona did miss their extra point, so we would have a chance to go ahead. But the first thing we have to do is take a touchdown into the end zone, no penalties, and just move the football. There's a handoff straight, and a pitch outside, and a little bit there. Fake, good fake in there to Pena. And we had the option play then to Reyes, and he picked up a couple there, about 3. 3-yard gain around the right side, so it'll be 2nd down and 7 to go. And the clock's still running. Reyes did not go out of bounds. Looked like he might have a little more room than he did, but Friona recovered very well on that. So it's 2nd down and maybe 6.5 to go for the Mules. I formation. Slot over on the left side. Hand off in there to Pena. He breaks into the secondary. He'll have the 1st down and more. He goes out across the 40 all the way down to the 37-yard line in Friona territory. So a little hole there then. Good blocking by the Mules, and I'm sure that option play the time before may have opened that up somewhat. A good read in there by the quarterback McClanahan, and a good run by Pena, and he picks up about 7 or 8 yards on that play. It'll be 1st and 10 to go for Muleshoe, now down in Friona territory on the 39-yard line. I formation again. And the option play this time does not work. McClanahan thrown for a big loss of about, 2 or 3 yards, but it'll be 2nd and long. And Friona read that one all the way, and they were waiting for that play.
Ronnie, a lot of penetration by number 70 for the Friona Chieftains. That's Colby Patterson, defensive end there, and he had it read pretty well that time as he throwed McClanahan for about a 3-yard loss. So 2nd and long for the Mules.
McClanahan did not have a chance to pitch the ball in, so it's 2nd and long. And a kind of a delayed handoff in there to Reyes, and he ran into one of his own blockers, or he might have made more, and he had about 6 or 7 on the play. He bounced off a blocker and then ran for a couple more yards, and it'll be a 3rd down and about 6 now for the Mules, close to 7. And the Mules probably will go for it twice here.
Ronnie, they're down inside the 35-yard line, so we're really in 4-down territory here. So 3rd and about 6 for the Mules, but we need a big play here.
One back in the backfield. And a little quarterback draw in there by McClanahan, and he'll be close to the 1st down. And the late hit was not called, Sam. Man. Look, they speared us on the ground then, Sam. I guess the officials were turned around or something and couldn't see that. I don't know what happened. But it is a 1st down for the Mules.
Ronnie, McClanahan gets his 1st down, but it looked like we should have had another big one tacked on to that. But, the ref was right there. I don't know what his thinking was, but Coach Wood real quick to get in his face. But the Mules pick up a big 3rd down there. They'll have it 1st and 10 for about the 28-yard line.
Well, that was a quarterback draw, and it worked. And there could have been more yardage tacked on that, but there wasn't. And the Mules call their 2nd time out, Sam. They only have 1 left. And here we are in the 3rd quarter with still 4:21 to go. I wonder what that official was. On inside the 30 to about the, 27-yard line. And we're down in Friona territory. The Mules lost 3 yards on 1st down and then picked up the 1st down the next 2 carries. So good running by the Mules, and we'll see what happens here. 1st and 10 on the 27. McClanahan keeps and picks up 5 or 6. A good fake in there to Pena. McClanahan faked to Pena over the right side and then cut back to the left. And he'll pick up some good yardage, about 7 yards on the play. So it's 2nd down and 3. And, Sam, we've seen the Mules all last night and tonight engineer these drives and move the ball very well. And they've had some bad luck down close to the goal line, and we'll just hope that doesn't happen here.
Well, good pickup on 1st down there, bring up 2nd, and we'll call it 4 here. But the Mules putting together a pretty good power drive here.
2nd down, all set eye. Pitch back to Reyes. He cuts into the pile. He'll have 1 or 2, maybe. So it'll be a 3rd down again. Yeah, just very little, maybe a half yard in. Still 3rd, and we'll call it 3 for the Mules. And Reyes was really bottled up in there. Good charge by the defensive line of Friona on that play. .3:16, the clock moving. Here in the 3rd quarter, the Mules trail by 6. 3rd down, a big 3 to go for the Mules. I formation. Handoff in there to Pena. He's down to the 7-yard line. 1st down, he almost broke that one, Sam. He hung on to the football. Friona tried to tackle the football. Pena wouldn't let him have it, and he drug a couple of tacklers down about 5 yards. And so a great run by Pena, and the ball goes inside the 10, really to about the 8-yard line. 1st and goal to go for the Mules.
Well, Ronnie Gregg Pena, good tough running, had a pretty good hole there and then made several yards by himself later on. But the Mules knocking on the door here with 2:47 remaining in the 3rd quarter.
And it's 1st and goal for the Mules. Handoff again in there to Pena, and he has some more yardage. He's inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line. So it's 2nd and goal now, and the Mules, the big drive we said they must have, and they've had it so far in this series, and we'll see if they can take the ball on into the end zone. And that's on the 4-yard line. Close to the 3-yard line, Sam. So it's 2nd and goal from the 3, and the Mules will try to pound it in here. And I wouldn't be surprised if you don't see some more of Greg Pena right here. And there is McClanahan into the end zone for a touchdown. We faked a counter on that play. Quarterback keeper on the counter fake, untouched into the end zone, and McClanahan scores. And Sam, there's no flags out there this time. No flags at all. This one counts, and the Mules have tied the score, and they have a chance here to go ahead.
Well, Ronnie, the Mules did just what they needed. They put together a good drive there, and we're an extra point away from leading this ball game with 1:54 remaining in the 3rd, and it's a crucial extra point here.
Ryan Hodge kicks, and I believe he got it. He got it. The Mules lead, Sam, 7-6. So after the touchdown by the Friona defense, the Mules come back and score on the ground with 1:54 to go here in the 3rd quarter. The extra point kick good by Ryan Hodge, and the Mules have the lead for the first time in this ball game, 7-6, and they'll be kicking off to Friona. And Sam, the Mules, for what it's worth, will have the wind in the last quarter.
Well, Ronnie, I tell you what, that was a terrific drive. Friona, after that interception, come back and was fired up, ready to play, and the Mules just took it and like they had to on this kind of field, just power football. And you know, in my opinion, you know, they probably got the best power team out there in this ball game with the big running back Pena and Mason and the quarterback McClanahan and the big line, offensive line we have in front of them. But the Mules getting fired up here. They leading this ball game, Ronnie, and we need to get that defense going.
Okay, the Mules ready to kick off. Hodge will kick off after the big extra point he kicked, and it'll be Bandy and I can't see the other number, Sam. Kendrick back deep for the Chiefs. So the Mules answered just like they had to do after the defensive touchdown by Friona. They come back and score, kick the extra point. They lead 7-6. Those white uniforms out there, Friona, Sam, don't look very white now.
No, Ronnie, there a lot of mud out there on that field.
So Hodge ready to kick off.
Get a foot into it.
He'll be kicking into the breeze, what breeze we have. And the kick, it's a good kick down the field, taken in there by an up man. He's coming right up the middle, and he is hammered in there around the 36-yard line. So a good kick there by Hodge, and a good coverage, good defense, a good hit in there by several Mules. And the Mules will go back to defense, Friona on offense with 1:48 to go here in the third quarter. Sam?
Good hard hit on that kickoff team by the Mules. Joe Garcia in on that tackle. John McClanahan, several other Mules hit him. Friona will take it just outside their 35-yard line. Big Mules defensive stand here is what we need, Ronnie.
Okay, and we'll see what happens. As we're closing out the last couple of minutes here in the third quarter, the Mules up 7-6 in this ball game. There's a handoff outside and a few yards. Pretty good defense in there. That's the first one in there was Byers, and that was Kendricks for about 4 yards. He found a little hole outside, but good recovery by the Mules, and it's second down and about 6.
Ronnie, that play kind of looked like it could go for a big gainer when it first developed. Mules closed fast with Russell Byers and Mitch Mason coming from his linebacker position and held him to about a 4-yard pickup.
Okay, so a big second down for both teams here. The ball out close to the 40 on the 39-yard line in the Friona end of the field. And about 3, is that Kendrick Grajeda for about 3 up the middle. And it'll be third down and still 3 to go. So the Mules need to hold the Chiefs here as we wind down inside a minute here in the third quarter, about 45 seconds to go. And if the Mules can make Friona punt here, then they'll have the ball with the win to begin the fourth quarter. But a big third down for the Chiefs, and we'll see if they choose to try to pass the ball here or if they try to run it. Power I formation set up in there for the Chiefs. And the quarterback keeping the ball. Now he fires the ball down the field, and it is through the hands of the intended receiver. No flags down. A little bit of contact both ways on that, Sam. And that was a catchable ball. And I think the quarterback, Daniel, could have run for a first down then, Sam, if he chose to.
Well, Ronnie had him open. The Mules closed on him, and I thought we might possibly get an interference on that play. It was awful close to interference, but this slippery field, people just slipping all around. But the Mules defense hold, and barring anything here, we should get the ball back in pretty fair field position.
Okay, Duran back to punt, and the kick, nearly blocked that, and I was afraid we'd get rough in the kicker, but we didn't, and the ball dies at the 21-yard line, and the Mules will take over with 9 seconds to go here in the third quarter, leading 7-6, and have the ball on their own 21-yard line.
Well, Ronnie, that punter for the Chieftains, we don't even have him in the program, but that was a number 99 in that program, but that was a pretty good punt. That Mules will start there. 9 seconds remaining in the third quarter from just outside their own 20 up to about their 21-yard line.
Okay, we need another one of those long drives, Sam. And there's time out on the field for something. I think they're trying to get the chain set or doing something. No mistake, Sam. A good long drive killed some time, and we'll see what happens. 9 seconds to go in the third quarter. Both teams have scored a touchdown in the third quarter, and Friona missed their extra point. The Mules didn't, so the Mules lead 7-6. Friona scored on a defensive interception that they took 50 yards into the end zone, and then the Mules had a long patented drive. They took the ball into the end zone, McClanahan going the last 4 yards, and then kicked the extra point, and they lead 7-6, and the Mules have the football. There goes a handoff to Reyes, and he fumbled, and I think we lost the football.
No, he didn't.
Okay. I don't think the ground caused that fumble, Sam, but we may have recovered it. Reyes got it back. No, he coughed that one up just as he was hit. Pena got the ball back. Reyes was hit, and, boy, he coughed that one up in the air, and that was a scary moment. A pickup really of about 2 or 3 yards on the play as the quarter ends. Pena, good hustle as he recovered that fumble on the ground, and that could have been disastrous there. So it's 2nd and 7. The quarter ends, and we'll be back with the fourth quarter, Muleshoe with the football and the 1-point lead here in just a moment.
Ronnie, this is a quarter we've been looking for since the lightning storm and the rain last night. It's quarter number 4. Mules lead 7-6, and we're ready for a big fourth quarter here. Hopefully the Mules can put together a good drive here. They lead 7-6. Second and about 7 for the Mules. Pena in at fullback. Mitch Mason at tailback now, and he sets back to a slot position. Fumble the football, and that time Friona will get it, Ronnie. It's a slippery football out there. The Chieftains get a big break there as they'll get it in great field position about their 27-yard line. The Mules defense really need to come up big here. Just starting the fourth quarter, and never really got the handoff from McClanahan then, and the Mules cough it up. That's their second turnover here on this continuation of the ball game. That could sure prove costly here. And Justin Daniels seen something he didn't like. I think the 25-second clock was running down, and the Friona will be forced to burn a timeout, and we'll be back after a brief timeout. Yeah, because it gets muddy quick as they sit down. But we're back to action here. Just starting the fourth quarter. Chieftains have it following the fumble by the Mules. Daniel sets a man in motion, and he's rolling back the pitch and slips down in the backfield. Bandy slips down in the backfield, and but Pena was right there on him when Daniel had to pitch the football, and they'll lose about 6 yards on the play. A loss of about 4 yards. I had him back further than he actually was, but the clock, I was trying to get him a little more, but every little bit helps.
What we have to worry about here, Sam, is if they get down anywhere close to that goal line, they can kick a field goal and still take the lead in this game.
Well, Daniel splits twin receivers wide to his left. Hands off to the fullback. He breaks a tackle. Flag goes down. And that may be a face mask against the Mules. Five-yard face mask penalty against the Mules on that tackle, and that'll it'll be repeat second down. Well, second and about 8, I imagine, because they'll give him a yard or 2 on the game. Following the penalty against the Mules, it'll bring up second and about 8 for the Chieftains as they have it down inside the 25-yard line of the Mules. Daniel splits twin receivers to his left again this time. And handoff right off tackle, and he's hit hard right at the line of scrimmage. Matt Turney, Roger Whipple, Jonas Alfaro, Greg Pena, all in on the tackle for the Mules, and that'll bring up a big third down play here, third and about 6 for the Chieftains. This muddy, wet field at Benny Douglas Stadium, 10:25 and counting remaining in the ball game. Mules hold a slim 7-6 lead over the Chieftains. Yeah, that a baby, heck of a play. Ronnie, they run a little trick play, and he handed it in to Kendrick from back behind, and B.J. Gonzalez read it perfectly, and he hammered him in the backfield, run a little trickery to try to catch the Mules off guard, and B.J. Gonzalez, terrific play for the Mules as he'll lose about 2. Bring up 4th and 8, and Chieftains will be forced to go for it. This wet field is pretty pretty long ways for a field goal here. Friona trying a little trickery here to get something going. Daniel splits Bandy wide to the left. Big fourth down play here. Daniel keeps the ball, tries a little shuffle pass, and the Mules hold, baby. I tell you what, Ronnie, that's a heck of a defensive stand following that turnover.
I want to tell you what, Sam, that was great defensive play. Now, let me tell you something, though, Sam. I don't want to have to suffer through that again, so no more fumbles, okay?
Let's keep the ball. Let's make sure we get them handoffs, and let's put together a long drive here.
What's the score?
Terrific play, Mules defense that time. I tell you what.
21 seconds right here. I don't care what the score or not.
Let's just take it on down the field here. McClanahan brings him to the line, splits Carlton Lewis wide to his right, and Emmanuel Campoya wide to his left. Hand off to Reyes. He ducks his head and falls forward. Ronnie, it doesn't look like much of a gain, but he'll pick up 2 or 3 on that play. Pick up about 3, 2nd and 7 for the Mules. We need to get a couple of first downs, run some time off this clock, and
Inside 9 minutes.
under 9 minutes to play in this long-awaited ball game, this long continuation of a ball game from last night. Handoff again to Reyes on his left side, and he's brought down as he crosses the 30-yard line, picks up a yard or 2 more. Bring up another big third down for the Mules. Little if no gain there the way they spot him down. It's going to be third and a short 5 for the Mules.
You know, Sam, the Mules are going, I'm sure, will be afraid to try too much here with the lead, so look for them to run in the middle of the line, and I may be wrong.
High formation, Reyes the deep back behind Pena. And McClanahan's dropped. He looked like was trying to run that little delayed draw he has. He faked to Pena up the middle, and McClanahan's dropped, and the Mules will be forced to punt it away again on 4th and about 6. So, Roddy, we need to get a good snap and a good kick away. Bandy deep for the Chieftains.
Good coverage. Kick it out of bounds. Yeah. No more mistakes. They're going to try to block.
Good low driving kick, and Bandy will take it from about the 38, and he's got a lot of speed heading. Carlton Lewis hits him and knocks him. Finally brought down out of bounds by number 20, Judd Glover, but a good return by Bandy, and he'll cross midfield, Bandy will, and Friona will take over there at the Mules' 49-yard line.
Well, Sam, a while ago, we kicked the ball out of bounds, and then it went right to Bandy, and it was a low kick, and he had some return room, and has good speed, so he took advantage of that and returned that one about 15 yards. So good field position once again by Friona.
Friona held the Mules 3 and out on that play, so the Mules defense needs to come up big again here. A fumble on the football. The ball is loose, Ronnie. We'll wait and see. They got it back. Yeah, they called the 2 went up for the second down, but Ronnie, that ball is sure getting slippery out there, and right about the line of scrimmage, bring up 2nd and 10. Clock continues to run under 7 minutes here in this big District 2 3A ball game for all the marbles. District championship on the line here this afternoon. Bandy sets him down, sets a man in motion. He's back, and we got a flag here, Ronnie. I think we might have had movement in there.
I guess we were in their backfield.
Dead ball, false start, Ronnie. That's what I thought it was. They throwed it a little too quick. They throwed it about the start of the play, so I figured it had to be a dead ball, legal motion against the Chieftains.
We probably Are we going to take a penalty? I guess we are.
We'll have to. Have to take the penalty. It's a dead ball penalty, but the Mules was in on Daniel before he could get back there to where he was headed. But clock continues to run. Under 6.5 minutes remaining in the ball game. 2nd and 15 for the Chieftains. Come on, defense. Here we go. Daniel back to pass. They get to throw back to Kendrick. Little screen pass and good pickup. He'll pick up second and about 15, and he'll pick up about 13. Kendrick on the reception there. Good play by the Chieftains, but it'll bring up another big 3rd down for the Chieftains against this tough Mules defense. Clock continues to roll. We're under 6 minutes here in the ball game. Wet and muddy field here at Benny Douglas Stadium. 3rd and about 1, just outside the Mules 40-yard line. Mules need to dig in here. Daniel brings them to the line. Power I formation for the Chieftains. Everybody in tight. He'll hand to the deep back, and he didn't get it, Ronnie. Needed about a yard, and he picked up about a half a yard. Good tackle by Greg Pena coming from his linebacker position, and it'll bring up 4th down. They're going to call timeout and measure and get a measurement to see how close this is. So we'll wait and see what it was, Ronnie. Good hard tackle by Greg Pena that time, and we'll be back after this timeout for the measurement.
We hold it here. We might have.
He got a pretty good spot, too, didn't he?
They get good spots.
4th down.
Okay. Well, Ronnie, they come up about 6 inches short, and it's a big 4th down. Look like they're going for it here. They have it inside the Mules 40. Daniel splits one receiver wide to his left. Big play here. Need to stiffen up in that Mules defensive line. Handoff off tackle, and he will get a 1st down, Ronnie. Looked like run on a long count, and the Mules jump would have given it to him anyway, but big 1st down play on 4th and 6 inches. Yeah. Offsides against the Mules defense, and they'll decline it, and they'll take the gain on the play, but it'll be 1st and 10 for the Chieftains inside the 35-yard line on the Mules. And Ronnie, this is what it's all about. Big ball game here. Defense really needs to stiffen up here. Daniel brings them to the line. Power I formation. Hands off to the tailback, and he's hitting the backfield, but he'll pick up about 5, Ronnie. They slowed him down a little bit, but good tough run straight up the middle. Good blocking by the Chieftain offensive line, and he'll pick up about 6 on the play. Bring up 2nd and 4. The clock continues to run. 4.5 minutes remaining in the ball game.
Looks like he started veering a little bit to the outside, and he's just getting that head of steam up, and we can't bring him down right at the moment. We need a good stick here, Sam.
2nd and a long 4 for the Chieftains. Daniel brings them to the line. Full house backfield. Daniel keeps it himself, and he fumbles the football, and a sack by Clevenger. I tell you what, Ronnie, that's a big play by that Mules defense as he sacks him back across the 35.
The only thing that could have been bigger, Sam, if we recover that fumble, but that was a big play. So now we've got to probably figure out what sort of pass play they'll try to make here with a 3rd and 12.
Well, another big third down here at under 3:33 and counting remaining in this ball game. 3rd and 12 for the Friona Chieftains. Last time in this situation, they run a little screen pass. We'll wait and see here. Daniel back to pass. Shelburne, and he keeps it himself, and he's sacked right about the line of scrimmage. Had nobody open downfield, Ronnie, and it's so slippery back there, he couldn't get a good foothold. So, and that'll bring up 4th and about 11 or 12 for the Chieftains. And, Ronnie, this may be all it. Under 3 minutes remaining in the ball.
Well, what we can't have here, Sam, is some kind of a penalty on the Mules and, you know, some kind of a trick play or a long play that Friona breaks, which they haven't done yet tonight. Well, they actually lost about a yard on that play, Sam. So it's 4th and 13, and this is the play of the game, I'm sure.
Well, Friona electing to punt the football, but I bet you they're going to fake it. You never can tell here. They didn't get it off. 25-second clock run out, Ronnie, and it was going to be a fake. And I tell you what, Friona dodged a big bullet that time.
Well, the snap was back to the up back, and he dropped the ball, and we recovered it. Of course, I think maybe he fumbled that when the whistle blew. He may have heard the whistle. I don't know. But it'll be 4th down, about 17. And I guess if Friona makes this one, Sam, and scores, then they deserve to be district champions.
Well, Ronnie, it's 2:24 remaining in this ball game, and 4th and a bundle.
They may punt now.
Snapped it to the up back on the fake punt. And the clock continues to run, and Ronnie, I bet you this time they punt it away. He gets his foot into it, takes a Muleshoe bounce, gets down inside the 20, and they'll call it quits there. But 2:06 remaining in the ball game.
I think Friona has one timeout left, Sam. 2:06 to go, and we were just hoping that one wouldn't go down to about the 2 or 3 and maybe the Mules fumble. Of course, the Mules still could fumble here, and Friona will be trying to tackle the football. But with 2:06 to go, the Mules should run the 2:06 off, or at least most of it off here, even with the one Friona timeout left.
Well, the Mules will have it 1st and 10 at their own 19-yard line, Ronnie. 2:06 remaining in this ball game. McClanahan brings them to the line, full house backfield, splits Camboya wide to his left. Straight handoff to Payne in the backfield. He finds a little running room, and he breaks a tackle. He'll cross the 40, get to the 45, 40. He's going to score 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown! And there's no flags on the field, Ronnie. He breaks the tackle. Greg Pena goes 81 yards, and that ought to do it.
Bring out the trophy now, Sam. Bring out the trophy. What a run by Pena. Friona trying to clog the middle, wanting to tackle the football. Pena just goes 82 yards for the touchdown, and the Mules now lead 13-6, and this one should be over.
Terrific play by Greg Pena, Ronnie, and he just broke a couple of tackles and hit the sidelines. And for a big boy, Pena has a lot of speed, and the Mules hit pay dirt again with 1:52 remaining in the ball game. 13-6, Mules lead. Point after attempt yet to come. We need that, and it's good. And they got an offsides. We should decline this penalty. And Ronnie, I tell you what, that looks awful sweet.
Well, it's not over, Sam. Anything can happen. They can run the kickoff back. Anything can happen, but 1:52 to go. Friona with one timeout, and the Mules lead should be 14-6. Yeah, 14-6. And, man, it's sweet right now.
Awful sweet here. 1:52 remaining in the ball game.
Don't let them have a run back. Oh, yeah, you bet. We're kind of crazy up here, aren't we?
We just hit the Denver.
He's not home.
Sam,
Huh?
Chevrolet player of the game goes to Greg Pena right now.
The other night we had a problem with the speaker on our side went dead, and the speaker on the other side was live. It may be doing that. It's on. I mean, it is making noise.
Ryan Hodge is set to do the kicking chores for the Mules. And Ronnie, I'd guess at the backs, I'd say it's Bandy and Kendrick to receive the kickoff. I bet you it doesn't get that deep, but all I need him to do is just at least get a foot into it and get a few yards on this. But I'll tell you what, the big men on this kickoff team, you watch 42, Russell Byers, I'll tell you what, he'll come put a hammer on you. So Hodge, great kick by Hodge, hits down at about the 5 and into the end zone. Ronnie, I tell you what, Mules are fired up, and that was a terrific kick by Ryan Hodge.
Well, they got to take it 80 yards now, Sam. I never dreamed about us getting it in the end zone. Best kick of the year and the best time of the year, biggest game of the year, and Sam, it looks like the Mules might be district champs.
Well, Ronnie, they've got 80 yards to go. I've seen a lot of strange things happen, but we'll wait and see here. 1:52 remaining in this ball game, and they're a touchdown and a 2-point conversion from getting back tied in this ball game with not much time and 80 yards to go. And I tell you what, 19 years since the district championship has come to Muleshoe. They quick pitch it out this time. Finds a little running room, and Russell Byers hammered him after about a 4-yard pickup.
Got the mule down. Don't call timeout. Yeah.
Friona,
Who we got down?
I think that's Pena. We have official timeout on the field with Mules have a hurt player. Looks like Greg Pena down on the field, so we'll wait and see. We'll be back after a short timeout.
Yeah. Imagine.
Second and about 5 for Friona. Fumble on the snap, and the Mules got the football, Ronnie. And we do, baby. 131.
Big Turney with the ball.
Big Matt Turney, 290-pound senior, number 78. And Ronnie, just a few snaps, and Friona with the steal one timeout, and this one's in the bank.
I don't think Greg Pena was hurt bad, Sam. I think he was still tired from that 80-yard run, to just tell you the truth. But nobody's hurting down on that Mule sideline right now.
19 years since the district championship was won by the Mules, and they will have it here 1:31. McClanahan brings them to the line. He'll hand off to Pena, and he finds running room again. He breaks in the secondary, 10-5, and he scores again, baby. God almighty. I tell you what. What I tell you, 21-7, what I tell you.
Sam yesterday said it'd be 21-7, and he's going to be close. This could make it 21-6. Pena, Sam, on the last 2 carries, what did he make in, 20? 100 yards. Good job. 100 yards on the last 2 carries for Greg Pena. And the Mules up 20-6 with 1:23 to go. And Sam, let's see, they scored in 15 seconds in, didn't they?
Ronnie, I'll tell you what, it's terrific. Ryan Hodge splits uprights. Ronnie, I told you yesterday at the start of the ball game, we was making predictions, getting ready. I said the Mules are going to win this ball game, 21-7.
And I think I said, Sam, that's right.
And you agreed with me, and I tell you what, Ronnie, and I just put a little more faith in that Friona extra point kicker, or we'd have been right on the money. But 1:23 remaining in the ball game. Mules 21-6 lead over the Friona Chieftains, and I tell you what, it's a terrific feeling.
We know how the Friona crowd feels, don't we, Sam? We've been there. And the shoe's on the other foot tonight. The Mules will kick off, and they have this one won. They have the district championship, a tremendous effort, and not a bad effort, of course, at all by Friona. The Mules just wanted this one. They wanted it last night, and they still wanted it today, and they're going to get it.
Ronnie, it was a long-awaited game. It's been a lot of years since we've had this big of a football game here, and the Mules come ready to play. They give up that the Mules defense just held them in check the whole second half, and the 3 minutes and something, 3:37 remaining when we started this game back today, and the Mules defense just played terrific, and just an offense giving up that one interception for a touchdown. We've pretty much shut down this area leading offense of Friona down, and Ryan Hodge set to kick it off, and another good kick. It hits down about to 20, goes out of bounds, and they should take it about to 30 unless they want them to re-kick it.
17-178. Who's that? She had 100 of the last 2 carries.
Ronnie, it looks like they're probably going to make Muleshoe kick it again. Ronnie, you got a little stat there?
Greg Pena, Sam, has 178 yards on 17 carries. He has the 2 touchdowns. He, of course, had 100 of those yards on the last 2 carries. Tremendous game by Greg Pena and by all the Muleshoe Mules.
Well, they're making us tee it up again. We'll tee it up from our 35-yard line, but a minute 23 in this ball game, Ronnie, and I tell you what, it's a great feeling. Let's enjoy this for a while. Hodge puts his foot into it. It hits down at about the 18, falls out of bounds, and looks like they'll make us kick it again. They can take it at the 35 this time. So.
That's all right, Ryan. That's all right, Billy.
They'll back us up to the 30 and make us kick it again.
This is the
Giving a tomahawk chop to Friona Chieftains, Ronnie. They kind of rubbing it in a little bit, but I tell you what, as many years as we waited for a district championship, we've been chopped several times in the last years, but we'd like to, in case we forget later on, we'd like to congratulate Coach Wood and his whole coaching staff. They put together a terrific game plan and got the Mules ready to play.
I was thinking, Sam, just what Bob Graves said down the way. Let's don't get them too riled up because we may play them again.
Ronnie, I tell you what, I liked our chances early in the week against this Friona team. I thought we'd be ready to play. I know they're a terrific ball club, but the Mules are they're just hungry, and that's what it's all about. So. Hodge is set to kick it up again. Kicks it straight down the field, hits down, gets past him at the 20, drops inside. Bandy returns it, and he's hit at about the 30-yard line. Number 24 is Black, Clint Black. Good hit by Clint Black.
Clint Black almost knocked Bandy loose from the ball in. Bandy just barely held on to it, and he was jarred in, so the Mules really fired up. And, Sam, they can relax here. 1:15 to go and have some fun because they're going to get to celebrate here in just 1:15.
1:15 remaining in this ball game, and it's been a long one, but it's sure been an enjoyable one.
Boy, aren't you glad we got to finish?
You ain't no woofing.
Hey, at 3:30 it'd be 20 hours.
20 hours.
20-hour ball game here tonight. Let's get some pressure on him, sack him. Yeah, he trips and falls down and inside the 20. Slippery field, and Daniel slips and falls, and Ronnie, the clock continues to run.
I think Daniel also stumbled over his back's foot or something. It looked like he kind of stumbled as he went back, and it'll be second very long, and we're inside a minute now, Sam.
Right, talk about 19 years for district championship, and this breaks Friona's 27-game regular season as Shelburne drops the fullback right at the line of scrimmage, and 27-game winning streak regular season that Friona had going.
Yeah, and I believe they'd beaten us, Sam, like 17 out of the last 19 times.
15 out of the last 17, I know. But Daniel back to pass, no pressure, decides to run, chased by Clevenger, and hit, knocked out of bounds by B.J. Gonzalez, and they're going to continue to run the clock. 18. Well, he finally stopped it, Will. So he gets up to about the 40-yard line. He'll still be short of the first down, but only 18 seconds remaining in this ball game. Ronnie, let's listen to these fans and see what you hear what they're saying.
They may have. Pena has 178 yards on 17 carries. 100 on the last two.
Inches, but 17 seconds remaining in the ball game. 4th and inches from the Friona Chieftains.
I think they are making public and Ralph gets his haircut now. Everybody was. He's supposed to bring it to. Oh, yeah, I forgot. That's right.
Put 18 back on the clock.
Yeah, 18 seconds.
Yeah. You did good, Bob.
I'm trying to get this game over so bad.
Well, let's play some more. Put about 6 minutes up there. Let's put some more points on the board.
That's right.
Here we go. 4th and inches for the Chieftains. But 18 seconds remaining in the ball game, and Daniel quick pitches out to Kendrick. He's rolling. He'll cross midfield and get out of bounds, and that'll stop the clock. 14 seconds remaining as they'll get a first down. Friona with no timeouts left and only 14 seconds remaining in the clock, and all they're trying to do is make it look a little more respectable in the papers.
Well, 12 for 45 for Kendrick.
Hey, could you go over by that gate where the ambulance is and don't let anybody in it? Yeah.
14 seconds remaining in the ball game. Little counter trap action, and he's hit right at the line of scrimmage. Matt Turney's got a hold of him, Ronnie, and he ain't going nowhere. And they'll throw a flag. He's still trying to run. I bet you we're going to get 15 against us, but he is still trying to run.
Well, if he breaks there, Sam, he can score. I don't know what that was unless it was a face mask.
Now, it come from the back, but Ronnie, that was pretty weak call, I thought. That was weak here late.
You know, if the boy is still trying to run, and if Matt Turney lets him go, he scores a touchdown. So he couldn't let him go. He wouldn't do anything except holding on to him. Now, he did fall on him, but that's just, yeah, he was also getting blocked while that was going on. Well, regardless.
Well, that'll move it down to the 35, and it'll also start the clock.
Hey, started the clock yet.
And that starts it. 4, 3, and he downs the football with 1 second remaining in the ball game. And they got a chance for one more play, Ronnie.
That's all right. They're prolonging this. That's nice.
Just prologuing this, their agony and our enjoyment here.
If George Steinbrenner is in the area, we'll let him come down and cry for us.
You tell him quit talking about George Steinbrenner. You'd have thought the Yankees bought a spot on Magan's TV. Last play of the ball game, 1 second remaining.
They said announce and tell the kids stay off the field, Sam.
Okay.
Y'all hear that ball?
And that'll end the ball game. Announce, hey, don't let the kids on the field. Ronnie, that'll end the ball game. 19 years since the last district championship, and it's another one here. They announced to keep the kids off the field, but it didn't do any good. The Mules win over a good Friona Chieftain team tonight, 21-6. And Ronnie, this is terrific.
Well, Sam, it couldn't have come out any better, and a great victory here for the Mules. And again, the first time in 19 years they've won the district. They do over Friona convincingly. The
Picking grass, baby, they're picking grass.
first time they picked grass in a while, isn't it, Sam?
19 or 20 years since we picked some grass, and we done it. I tell you what. And we picking grass, Ronnie. Huh? That's what we told them. Me and Victor and a bunch of them spoke to them Friday before the game.
Yeah. Sam, I'd almost forgotten about that. It'd been so long, but they slid in the mud out there, and they're having a great time. They did pick some grass. We said a while ago, Pena had 178 yards on 17 carries, and Kendrick for Friona had 45 yards on 12 carries. Friona, I believe, had 5 first downs for this 20-hour ball game, Sam. That's not very many first downs in 20 hours. The Mules found the going rough, too, but they wanted it just a little worse last night and again today. And, well, there's just not much you can say except a great win for the Mules.
Nice bucket, and I tell you what, and the Mules are #1 District 2 3A champs after a long ball game, big ball game for the Mules, and they are district champs as they go away from here. 21-6 winners. Leave the score up there. 21-6 over the Friona Chieftains, and I tell you what, it's a heck of a evening here for the Muleshoe Mules, and the kids having a little fun. I'm Sam White along with Ronnie Jones, and Ronnie and Bob will bring it to you next week from Cooper High School as we'll finish up the regular season, and it's playoff time, Ronnie. And Ronnie, I've enjoyed it a good year, and you and Bob get after them next week.
Sam, I tell you what, I'm going to enjoy this one a while. I haven't seen a scene like this around Muleshoe in a long time. Great effort, and like you said, the coaches have done a great job also with these boys, and they came out tonight. We were hoping that they would still have the fire they had last night, and they certainly did, even after they got behind. And the difference in this team and some teams we've had in the past, when things went bad, like the interception where you got behind 6-0, they never thought about quitting. They got stopped a couple of times on the next 2 drives, but they finally took the ball into the end zone, went ahead 7-6, and they were unstoppable after that. So this crowd, Sam, doesn't want to leave. They want to stay a while.
I tell you what, it's enjoyable, but we'll see you next week.